My beautiful ones, my wise ones, my melanated ones. It is Wisdom Reborn, and today is Friday, December 27th. And I want you to brace yourself today. Brace yourself today because these next few days of 2024 are going to swoop by so quick. You're going to be like, wow, glad it's over with. So glad it's over with. 2024 brought a lot to a whole lot of people. It brought a lot to me. It brought me a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, a lot of accomplishment, a lot of growth, a lot of inner work. Yeah. A couple days ago, I started telling y'all about when I stopped my podcast. When I first started the little podcast, the podcast that I had in January, Creative Conversations for Change, was going really, really good, and I got sideswiped by a vision that shook me, that really shook me, that scared me, that had me in a place, I don't want to say confusion, because it showed me a lot of things a whole lot clearer than I had ever seen them before. But the dream that I had, the vision that I had, it was like being on set watching everything happen, like just me in my 50 plus year old self watching my 8-year-old self be mishandled by a family member. That shook me tremendously. It frightened me for quite a few reasons. When it first happened, I thought that when the vision first happened, I thought the best thing for me to do would be to review the information, internalize it, and then reach out to the people that are still alive when the event took place. Now, I'm saying that because it just shocked me that when someone calls you and asks you about an incident, and the first thing that the person said was, "You're not the only one that's ever happened to." What? It made me go back and think about more things that have happened in my life that I should have been protected from, that I was not protected from. That incident changed my life in a lot of ways, but that was not it was a bad incident, but it wasn't as bad as a lot of people who have been through being mishandled by an adult. And I'm very grateful for that. I am very grateful for that. In hindsight, though, I called another one of the individuals that was aware that it had happened, that I was in their care when it happened, and that person cried, apologized, explained to me that she was young, didn't really know how to handle it, and she was put in it just put everybody in a bad place. And see, this is the problem that I have. This is the problem that I have with me, because I'm gonna talk about me for sure today. The problem that I have with me is I keep making concessions for others' bad decisions. I really think that goes back to the first 5 years of my life, when I was taught that other people were more important than me. And the way I was taught that other people were more important to me was, I told y'all, when my stepdad and my sister would interact, I was banned to my room. I told y'all that when I spoke to my mother about it, I was told to just get a book and read. I keep making concessions for other people, trying to protect people that did not protect me. And that bothers me. And it's bothering me more and more because even at this age, 40 plus years later, 48 years later, I'm still in my mind trying to protect the people who did not protect me. I am completely done with it now, though. The reason I say I'm done with it now is because during this holiday season right here, the people that mishandled me have truly shown me their true colors. Truly shown me their true colors. To the point to where they have asked me to stop talking about what happened in my childhood. I actually even considered it. But let me tell you what the Most High told me. The Most High has assured me that the last 5 years of my life have been hell because I have not been obedient. And obedience is better than sacrifice. So I would rather sacrifice my growth, my spiritual depth, to protect someone who doesn't even think they've done anything wrong. That is the part of all of this that really, really bothers me. That you could be saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, and going to heaven, but not even recognize when you are mistreating someone, when you have habitually mistreated someone, when you have a lifetime legacy of mistreating people. Because you don't mistreat just one person. There's no way a person who mistreats people, who uses people, who manipulates people, who gang stalks people, who, oh God. You can't just do it. That's not something that you just do to one person. Because out of the abundance of the heart, everything else happens. And then it's not what goes into a man, but what comes out of him. So you can sit up under the word all day long, but if you don't have the heart, the empathy, the compassion, the passion, the grace, the forgiveness, the love to give to someone else, you can't. And chances are you've not forgiven yourself. You've probably not even thought about how you've made another person feel. And if you did think about it, your thought process is probably, I don't even know what's wrong with her. I've been the same my whole doggone life. That's the problem. You've been the same your whole life. That's the problem. Not yourself as in where you are in life, but yourself as in what's in your heart. Is your heart light as a feather? Can you say that you treat people the way you want to be treated with no hesitation? Can you say that you love the people that you're around all the time and mean it and love the Most High that you've never seen in a physical form? There's no way you can love the Most High and treat people the way people are treated. I'm just speaking on me. I just don't understand how you could be saved, sanctified, and going to heaven anyhow and not realize that you have gang stalked someone most of their life. That you have, when I go to these people with thoughts, ideas, I get a kind of a response that's, girl, are you sure? What? That sounds crazy. However, when the money is flowing, every idea is a million dollar idea. Every change is for the better. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. How someone could pick up the phone and call you, or no, how someone could pick up the phone and call me and ask me to buy them a car. My car been in the shop they don't even know what's wrong with my car. I ain't even really worried about it because the shoulder surgery, and I'm not in a rush to drive because I've been in a couple accidents before, and I'm a little fearful to get behind the wheel knowing when I turn my head to the left, I can feel all up in here. So I'm not even in that much of a hurry. But the thought, the greed, the selfishness, the audacity, the who do you think you are, the entitlement, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I know that there is something bigger for me to do. And I know this lifetime of seemingly walking alone, that I have not been alone. I know that the Most High has been with me all the way. I know that he has had angels encamped around and about me to protect me. I know that. And the way I know that is because the incident that happened when I was 8 years old didn't go as far as it has for a lot of people. However, an 8-year-old should never be touched or mishandled by an adult. And when that 8-year-old, if that 8-year-old is ever touched or mishandled by an adult, the adults in the vicinity absolutely should do something. One of the first things that they should do is probably let the other parent know. My father wasn't there, but my father attempted to rectify the situation. He forgave his brother. He did. I forgave his brother, who was supposed to be mentally disabled, couldn't read or write, didn't function well in the real world, but knew if I tell her I'm gonna get her a bicycle for her birthday next week, I might can convince her to let me do a little bit more. He had that much sense. But I forgive him. And he is no longer with us. And I'm not going to say rest his soul, because I don't care if his soul is resting. I will say this, though. He died a horrible died a horrible death. He was in the hospital for days before he died. And his sister called me on my phone and asked me to come to the hospital to let him know that I forgave him so he could die in peace. What about me? What about me? I did not matter. But I tell you what I did do. I prayed about it. And I asked the Most High what I should do. And I went to the hospital. And I told him that I forgive him. And I allowed him to die knowing that I forgave him. And I do forgive him. I realize that we don't wrestle with flesh and blood, but principalities, wickedness, evil spirits in high places, all that good stuff, all that good stuff. I understand that. I understand that. I also understand that my nose is itching like crazy, y'all. To me, that's a good sign. But I just my geese are coming by to say hello. It's a gaggle of geese that come by in the yard every day. It's a bunch of them. And they make a whole lot of noise. I usually go out there and yank my wind chime, and they stop and look up at me like I'm crazy, but they go right on about their business. But I just heard them landing for lunch, I guess. The audacity. Yes, I'm a grown woman now. If I were to pick up the phone, if someone that I hurt, and I have hurt people before, and if anybody that I've hurt in the past were to pick up the phone and call me and let me know that they recalled an incident that happened that they feel like I was responsible for, I would never throw that back in their face. I would let them know instead of saying, you are not the only person that's happened to. I just hope that by me telling this story, if there is another child that has to be put in that situation and there are adults around, that those adults will handle the situation differently. Mind you, that was way back in 1976. And things were different in 1976. But in 1976, there is no reason for a grown man to put his hands inappropriately on anybody. That's timeless. And whenever that happens, and you've got children and you've got daughters, and you were a child, and even if the same thing happened to you, the cycle has to stop. Someone has to break the cycle. Someone has to. And I guess I'm the family curse breaker. Because those curses just don't break themselves. They have to be confronted. They have to be called out. And they have to be dealt with. When I called those two individuals, I didn't call the third one because the first one asked me not to, because the third one is very ill, but didn't. I ain't gonna go there. It just bothers me that we going to heaven anyhow. And when people ask me, why do I have such a problem with the church? I don't have a problem with the church itself. I have a problem with all the broken people in the church that are walking around saying they're not broken. This is a constant washing away of what's not needed and bringing in what is needed. And that is what is wrong with so many people in organized religion. Because you allow that religion to keep you in a structure that is organized. And if I did believe in Jesus, I would say that's what he came back for. Let the New Testament tell it, but y'all know I feel about the New Testament. Some fishy about the New Testament, and it ain't them fishing them 5 loaves of bread, and it ain't the fishers of men. It's the fishiness between the last book of Malachi and the first book of Matthew. Those 400 years that I have been digging up, and I have found some stuff. I'll be so glad when I can put this together and I can present it to people. And I'm so thankful that so many people know that there was something going on within those 400 years, because there is a tribe of us that's out here breaking down and deciphering and dissecting and reconstructing all this information so that we can come before you and we can tell you what happened and how it happened. And then when we do, there'll be a whole lot of people who won't believe us simply because they have been entangled in organized religion for so long till they don't understand the movement of a spirit opposed to the movement of organized religion, which is directly attached to politics and the occult and the Roman Catholic Church and all of that. These blood offerings, blood sacrifices that y'all continue to do. If God is within you, why do you have to symbolically take his body and his blood? Do you know how satanic that is? To eat the body of someone? To drink the blood of someone? If Christ's blood covers a multitude of sins, why do you have to drink it? The blood was shed on Calvary. Why do you have to have a ritual, because it is a ritual, to drink his blood? That's vampire. Humans don't drink blood. Vampires drink blood. Even symbolic blood. I don't get it. I don't get it. We have a covenant agreement with Yeshua. Our covenant agreement with Yeshua is in our DNA. We don't have to do those Gentile rituals. Those are Gentile rituals. And the Gentiles, the Romans, are known to be likers of little boys, likers of all of this satanic stuff. But because our captors came to us and told us this is what we have to do, we walked away from what we used to do and we walked into this. And we got to walk our way out of it. But let me get back to this. So, as an adult, as a grown woman, I forgive everyone that has ever hurt or harmed me in any way. But me forgiving you don't mean you don't get judgment for it. It doesn't mean that it just vanishes. Me forgiving you is for me. It ain't for you. It's for me. It's for me to be able to have the strength to turn and walk away. Because I can love you from a distance a lot of times far better than I can love you up close. Especially if you keep stabbing me in my back and making me feel like I have little value, or hyping it up like I do when I know you don't feel like that about me. The great thing about connecting to the Spirit, the Most High, and the angels, and the ancestors, because that's what we keep forgetting about, the ancestors that came and did all this work before us. But the ancestors, the angels, and the Most High will give you signs, will let you know when things aren't right. It will heighten your discernment. And you'll be able to know that when your phone rings and you see that person's name on there, you'll be able to go ahead and take a couple deep breaths and decide if you even going to answer the telephone call at all. But then when you answer the telephone call, have a peace about yourself. Or if they ring your doorbell, then I don't let people at my... If you ain't called, if we ain't discussed it, you ain't getting in. You can ring that doorbell all day long. The door could be standing wide open. Screen door could be open. You could be sitting there looking at me. But if you ain't called me before you came, we gonna have a problem. Most people. I'm saying all this to say, as adults, and we all, well, as adults, and this is not a for kids video, so as adults, our actions affect others, whether they be positive or negative. It's up to us as individuals to check ourselves, to go within, figure out what it is that's causing us to do anything, and correct it, repent and turn away from it. So this is what I think people sometimes have a problem with. You don't know what you've done to someone because you don't reflect on it. You don't reflect on your actions, and your connection with the Most High might need some work. That's where that meditating comes in at. Because praying is talking to the Most High, but meditating is listening to Him. And it means getting in a quiet place and listening. Not trying to explain, not waiting for something to fall out of the sky. Just being quiet and listening to the Most High, to your spirit guides, and even, yes, to your ancestors. We, as melanated people, have a lot to demolish. We got a lot to build up. We have a lot to consider. We have a lot going on. Have you ever noticed that there are so many more things put before us to distract us? I want y'all to think about that. The Gentiles don't get treated like we get treated. Because the Gentiles know that we are the chosen ones, that we are the tribes of Israel, that we are gifted and talented and magical and all of those things. And since I said magic, I wish I knew the name of them. I will find it. However, let me tell you this. They say in the 1300s, slavery didn't actually begin until the first slave ships actually left 1619. However, there were a few people that went to Portugal and Spain and a couple other places as slaves. However, that's not the Atlantic slave trade. But when slavery began, it began because the Gentiles recognized who we were. And when the Gentiles came in the 1300s, writers have said that they would run in the woods and the trees and the foliage would hide them because of their connection to nature and the Most High. And I believe that. Because if He could feed the children of Israel, almost 4 or 5 million people every day, fresh manna from heaven, I'm sure it'd be nothing for Him to hide His children in the wilderness, in the jungle, as their captors were coming to get them. I want us to think on where we're disconnected. And then I want us to brace ourselves and change it. Has to be done. It has to be done. There is no way around it. If we are going to walk in our birthright, There's some soul searching we're going to have to do. The Most High, Yeshua, gonna make the way easy for you. It's gonna be easier than the way of the world. And if for no other reason, because of the peace, the solitude, I think that's the right word, the completeness that you feel, once you put one foot in front of the other and walk away from those things that do not serve you anymore. It might be hard right now. 2025, y'all gonna be able to see this clear as a bell. I know you are. Just everything that the Most High has ever showed me has always happened. And then he told someone years and years and years ago that he was going to have to break me into all the pieces that I could be broken down to in order for him to put me back together so that I could be useful. This last incident that happened in October was the breaking point for me. The absolute breaking point. The working for somebody for all this time, them gang stalking me, telling me that I really wasn't working for them, that I really was just doing this and doing that, that they ain't have any money to pay me with. But yeah. It got pretty bad. I'm not dropping names because and I know the individual watches because I've noticed that all his friends started watching me too. Thank y'all. Keep my name in the universe. Lifted up high. Thank you. Near the Most High. Thank you. So he can handle me how he needs to. Thank you. We got to get it together. We have to stop misusing and abusing people. We have to start taking accountability for our own actions. And misuse and abuse does not have to be as harsh as what happened to